Today we're talking to the partners of individuals in therapy, particularly those dealing with narcissistic behaviors and reactions that are impairing their relationships. I do not diagnose, but I work with how someone is with others through relational therapy together. Who they are with me is the starting point of the work. Some of my clients are diagnosed with NPD before they come to me, and some come in with self-diagnosis, usually in a state of being alone in the world, or alone emotionally with tattered relationships. Developing trusting, loving relationships is the way back to themselves, but they might have to deal with all sorts of defenses and emotional dysregulation issues, dealing with unsupported experiences from the past, still living in their body in the form of the traumatized energy that they get triggered into. Your loved one is on a journey of self-discovery, and your role is crucial in creating a more connected, closer relationship. I want to be clear that supporting your partner is not supporting the dysfunctional behavior that has had negative impact. That will take intentional boundaries. It's not okay for you to be an emotional punching bag. Let's explore how you can navigate this process together. Firstly, understanding attachment. Let's view your relationship through an attachment lens. Our family dynamics shape us profoundly. As children, we learn to regulate our emotions through our caregivers. The way they mirror us influences our sense of self. If validation is lacking, it can lead to a deep sense of separation, impacting attachment. Look, mommy, from a child needs to be met with, wonderful, dear. Positive information so the child knows that yes, they are good. And they look good, and they are good enough. And through this, they learn to self-validate. If this was missing, they may have an addiction that is like an empty void, an addiction to validation. Or if this was excessive, then they may not have learned to do it themselves, also creating an empty void. Narcissistic traits and childhood impact. Children are inherently self-focused. However, if validation is excessive or insufficient, it can lead to adults constantly seeking validation. This may manifest in performance-based behaviors, hindering genuine presence in relationships. Children are narcissistic. We evolved this way, and it's natural that the world we see and perceive with our senses feels like it revolves around us. We lack object constancy. What's real in this moment feels like it's the only truth, which is an extreme feeling, and it takes emotional support and understanding with our caregivers to mature from this. We develop emotionally through empathy, through our caregivers feeling with us, feeling our positive and our negative emotions with us, helping to soothe us, teaching us emotional regulation. If our caregivers did not have the capacity to do this, then we will have adapted to this invisible emotional neglect. This impacts intimacy in various ways, and it's part of what we are working on in therapy. Together, being too alone has been the culprit. The emotional impact on emotional maturity. Childhood experiences affect emotional maturity. If emotional support was lacking, it may impact intimate relationships, creating roadblocks. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in the therapy journey. Growing up emotionally, we emotionally mature in relationships, not in isolation. Without feedback, humans can struggle. In cases of narcissistic injuries, trust, shame, and isolation are painful experiences, often ignored and suppressed. Validation is crucial, but constant validation can become dysfunctional. The goal is to learn self-validation through relational work. This process involves recognizing and naming triggered responses without blaming others. Family members can misunderstand validation. Validation, in fact, is important, and we do all need some validation. It's how we know that we're doing a good job. Otherwise, we're just guessing. It's the addiction to validation that's the problem. So we validate the target behavior, and we do not validate the manipulative behavior. This is something to work on together, and that's why with therapy for narcissism, I include relationship sessions. We are changing who someone is in relationship, not who they are as a person, but the way they've adapted to be with others. And this is a group effort. This has group impact because we are pack animals, and this person is a member of your pack. Navigating triggered states. In therapy, individuals learn to identify triggered states. Partners play a supportive role by recognizing these states, fostering understanding, and encouraging authentic expression without blame. We work on creating bridges back to the untraumatized parts sooner and easier with intentional practice of repair. Learning to repair rather than disconnect. This is all about energy. And the negative emotions live in a toxic amount of traumatized energy due to lack of expression. They can't go there because there's too much to go to. In relational therapy, we go there with support, eventually integrating the hidden parts and learning to deal with uncomfortable emotions, skills that were missed during childhood emotional development. Emotional development for humans only happens relationally. First with our primary caregivers, as far as they can lead us, and then in our closest relationships. Being on a desert island emotionally leads to self-focus and unrealistic thoughts. Narcissism. We welcome them off the desert island with safety cues and the support to feel and understand their own emotions. Our acceptance provides the safety they need to grow emotionally. Coaching and psychoeducation is a part of this process, as well as a commitment to a new set of values. Building accountability. Accountability, not blame, is key. Recognizing the impact of one's behaviors on others and committing to positive changes is the therapy's focus. Partners may feel challenged, but nurturing new behaviors strengthens relationships over time. Family support. Family support is vital. Recognizing disordered behavior without accepting abuse. Everyone works as a team for connection through life and kindness. Empathy, feeling with others, is crucial for intimacy skills. Addressing the issues honestly and openly with target behaviors is good modeling for everyone in the family. If you think this has already impacted your kids, it probably has. Children will tend to grow up with an attachment style that they replicate in their intimate relationships until they've had therapy support to develop secure attachment. You can change this model for your whole family by including your family. Narcissistic injuries do not heal in isolation. They heal in relationship. We are talking about new behaviors and creating new neural pathways. So it will take patience and intention and support, encouraging target behavior and not blaming the difficulty of the old neural pathway sometimes taking over. There will be hiccups along the way. Positive intention of wanting to do better and boundaries against abusive behavior are the key to moving forward. Challenges and neuroplasticity. Challenging behaviors is essential. Families need to be a united front against the disordered behavior, fostering behaviors of connection and kindness. Therapy check-ins. Regular check-ins with the therapist, both individual and couples, provides a safe space to share concerns and insights. This process supports openness, vulnerability, and authenticity. As your loved one progresses in therapy, remember that this is a shared journey. Your understanding and support contributes to the healing process. We are dealing with childhood emotional processes that grow up in relationship. Individualistic focus therapy can accidentally support the separation of narcissism. So whatever individual therapies are chosen, they need to have in mind field theory. I don't diagnose, but I do treat this as relational complex PTSD. When the human needs of love, belonging, and freedom to be who you are not met safely, the adaptations to survive in this state are disordered and impair relationships. We are supporting the growth into emotional maturity of stuck narcissistic patterns. Together, you can build a healthier, more connected relationship. Thank you for being a part of this essential journey. I want to acknowledge that you should not stay in an emotionally abusive relationship. If your family member is not able to stop their emotionally abusive behavior, then you need boundaries to protect yourself because it has an impact on your mood and on your mental well-being as well. You matter, and how you feel matters. This is about learning to be on the same team and supporting each other emotionally, and no one is anyone's emotional punching bag. You have a responsibility to yourself to live your best life. And that means cultivating close and connected, loving relationships. Sharing joy and feeling with others as we were meant to do through good times and dark times. Not being alone in our experience. Welcome to Therapy for Humans.